What's up, everybody, man? I just saw the most. I mean, the shit that I seen last night. Because, mind you, I was up when that stream came on, and DJ Cuda was sitting there saying all this crazy shit on there. He said, the shit that he was saying, that he was trying to justify game and all this other shit. It gave me a clarification, and I was like, let me go make a video about this shit, because I want people to listen to that whole stream and actually figure out the reason why it ain't racism that keeps black people out of power. It's black people's inability to evolve into something better and something different. It's black people's inability to drop the nigga shit and evolve to something that is more tangible and more cooperable with other races, because every other race has built the infrastructure and a power structure that they use in order for them to gain power and keep the power. But black people always seem to think that they can change the traditional rules when it's set for them to play the rules, to follow the rules. Basically, traditional rules are there for basic necessities and basic following. You are told to follow the rules, and you will get benefits from that said benefactor of the person who set the rules. But what black people do is try to redefine all the rules and change the definition of things, and sit back and try to play with the rules and cut corners. And then when they not accepted into said group, they call racism. In America, there's many people right now who want black people to win, but they don't want the nigga shit to touch their culture. They don't want the nigga shit to touch their infrastructure. They don't want the nigga shit to destroy what they built. Even if it is something, even if it's something crazy, but it still makes them money and keeps them structure. So what black people don't understand is that when they try to change the definition of a word, and they keep doing that, and they do it on live stream, this just proves on why there needs to be a separation, and then why that some people don't even let more than 5 or 6 black people in their culture, because they don't want this nigga shit to ever hit their culture where they having to clean this shit up after them. The stream went about, the stream was 8 hours. 8 hours of him ducking and dodging about game. The 8 hours of him literally putting game on every single fucking thing he could. Well, the psychological of game. You know how many people died for that psychological shit that you just said is a game? How many people got it back in the day when they used to do therapy on people and they used to just mess with their brain or electrocute them and shit? Do you think that's a game? The experiments that happened in WW2 that got modern day medicine going based off those experiments. All the horrible things that happened in the past to black people. All the things that people had to die for. All of that is now come to a game. So for me, I kind of looked at it like that, but now I kind of see it more and more that like the DJ Cuda stuff, he's more entertainment. He's not somebody that for me to go. I don't think it's for somebody even to go to, for him to learn lessons from. Because I'd rather you go to the White MGTOW channels or Zero or MOT for some real shit. Because with him, like, I never seen somebody use the word game so many times. Like, it was an 8-hour stream. Said game over 200 times. Before I went to sleep and got up and replayed it, he said it another 100 times and said game, and used it on everything and anything. He used the word game on every fucking thing that's possible. And people was just trying to like back and forth. Look, man, that's the kind of unstable nigga shit that people won't tolerate. No Arab dudes is gonna let that guy in their culture. No Spanish guys are not gonna let that dude in his culture. No white guys are not coming. No Asian guys gonna not let that in their culture. They don't believe in that game shit. Even white guys don't do that shit. That's the whole point. And this is one of the craziest things that I ever see before with anybody. I didn't ever see ARC say that kind of shit to yeah, let me get out of here because dude circling around, and this is the third time I've seen this dude circle the fuck around. Oh my god. I don't feel like fighting or none of this shit, man. So I never seen ARC say any never actually went on a live stream and said game that many fucking times. I mean, ARC talked about his book like 1,000 fucking like not even 1,000 times. He talked about his book about like 60 something times, right? But he never actually exceeded like 300 times saying the same word over and over again and putting it to every fucking context and stuff. That's the first time I ever seen in any black YouTube channel somebody just continue to not budge on what they say. Obviously, when I said in the chat box that white men power versus game, who's gonna win? Somebody replied to me saying white man's power. So the fact is, if game was embedded in every fucking thing like you say it is, then you can actually game your way into real power. Your game ain't gonna do shit for power. Because if game really worked, you would have power to show it. Game hasn't gotten nobody super rich. It didn't. Game haven't beaten the CIA. The pimp game hasn't beaten the CIA. The game hasn't beaten the NSA or FBI. Game hasn't did anything for black people in general. It was a funny thing seeing this dude bounce around, just keep talking and trying to apply to everything. I never seen somebody do this shit all my entire life. But you know what it is? It's the fact is that he took so long and took so much of his life learning the same shit over and over that he can't evolve from game. He can't ever evolve from that shit. And when one of the guys came up and told him how wrong he was because he'd been to all these continents, this dude Smooth, who was on a stream just earlier that he thought everybody forgot, he was talking against game. He was talking about how bad game is and this and that. He only been in Germany in one place, a couple places, but he's trying to tell a dude that been in all these continents how the game works. And I'm like, now I see, I was right about the fake red pill dudes and the fake people, and I'm gonna get to them soon. Like it amazes me that when nigga shit pop up and dudes who say that they red pill and they SYSBM or they thinking men and they all this other shit, when nigga shit pop up, these niggas just take their masks off and show them for who they really are. It's like, wow, what the fuck? You just changed up, and then in the middle of the panel he just be like, oh, well, Kuda, it ain't like that, man. It ain't like that, man. I'm like, wow, man. I'm like, this dude in general is a fake, false, phony. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you give these dudes a military career. It doesn't matter if you give them good jobs, IT jobs. It doesn't matter if you put them in tech. That nigga shit still won't get out of their fucking mind. The simp shit won't never get out of their mind. They can never throw that shit down and change. Like it boggles my mind that these dudes had so much opportunity and They have all this opportunity and still didn't let go that nigga shit, that pimp shit, that dumb shit, that or everything that they saying in that stream. And it's a trend now. Because I can tell you one guy who stopped going on SYSBM panels. And he showed himself to be a fake phony dude. When SYSBM came a little popular, right? Before the Aaron Fountain shit and all this other stuff happening, Super Triz was all up in the chats on panel to panel talking against all this game and all this stuff and stuff like that. But for some reason, after the Aaron Fountain and the Game Changer situation, this dude disappeared, took all his videos down about SYSBM, and pretty much went ghost. So I knew he was fake about the SYSBM shit because he was just jumping on the bandwagon. Then you had Ben DeSilver jumping on the SYSBM shit, acting like he SYSBM. He wasn't, but he was just acting like it because it was a popular term. Then you had tons of people acting like they're SYSBM, but still simping in the chat for fucking women or on women's channels, sitting there saying hi beautiful and getting with people or saying hi to people who pretty much, you know, they talk down to certain black men. But the fact is, this nigga shit and this so-called brotherhood bullshit that they kind of push all the time, it ain't, because when black women talk down to black men, everybody's supposed to check them on some brotherhood shit. But instead, they protecting and coddling these females, and they're like, oh, at least it's not me. So it's like, okay, you understand that if she can talk to me like that, she can talk to you like that, right? She can sit back and say any kind of derogatory thing to me, but you say, oh, it's not me. As long as I got a good standing with this woman, then it's okay. But if she says something to me, I can fall back on the so-called brotherhood and all the guys and say, oh, these women ain't shit. It's the same shit that Judge do. It's the same shit that Nordine does. It's the same thing there's a couple people do in this space that I'm starting to see, and I'm about to call them out like, yo, was you just on SYSBM penis the whole time? And then you take your videos down and shit? And then when Super Triz was in an argument with somebody, he sounded opposite of what he was saying this whole time. And I'm like, damn, man, why we have so many fake phony motherfuckers in the black community? Like they can't do nothing alone by themselves. And it's weird because it's like you can't stand alone. And then you got certain people on here who black pill, who try to say SYSBM, man, these Negroes think that they can go and sit in the comforts of other white women. It's like, are you serious? Like, stay in your black pill place. Nobody want to stay with you in a black pill. If you don't want to talk to women, then don't send comments like that when SYSBM didn't come at you. I support SYSBM, and that's the whole point. But these niggas, I mean, these dudes, they're faking the funk because it's the way they move and how they talk. And then it's kind of like they try to put this fake alternative shit, like how they are different from the guys who talk about game. But then he spent the whole time 200, 300 fucking times saying the word game and applying it to every fucking thing possible. Oh, if you fall off the bridge, that's the game. You get locked up, that's the game. You jump around and you calculate what you're gonna do, that's the game. And I'm like, wait a minute, this dude Smooth was just on a panel with Zero talking about how messed up game was and talking about how game is trash. Then you jump on a panel and agree with it when the nigga shit came out and it affects you. You supposed to be well traveled when that nigga shit supposed to be out of you. But it just shows that for some reason black people can't be trusted in any type of context because that nigga shit is still inside of them. That nigga shit is always inside of them. Always there. That simp shit is still always there. That nigga shit is always there. And I'm like, wow. These dudes got careers. These dudes in the military. These guys had all this different stuff that a lot of people will want. And they still sound like niggas. And I'm asking myself, it ain't racism that's stopping them. It's them refusing to conform to a basic ideology or a basic tradition, so they can actually make it in society, so then they can do whatever they want. But it's like, when the Italians came over here, they had to acclimate to, they had to do what Americans do. They couldn't say, I want to just pretend that I'm an Italian in America and I'm gonna do my own thing. No, because when they did do that, they was poor, and they stayed poor for a long period of time, basically until they acclimated into white society. And soon as they jumped into white society and start taking advantage of what white society became, or what white society was, they got into casinos, they got into politics, they got into dressing up in suits, they got into being around people, buying politicians, using money. They learned from white people how to do what white people do, but at the same time, literally making a organization, small group on their own, and making sure that, guess what? This is our home away from home. We're gonna keep ourselves to ourselves, but we're gonna actually communicate with these people when we need some money and power. And it worked for 60 something years. But then you turn around with black people, and all you hear is nigga shit. All you hear is this, oh yeah, man, you can't talk about all women, because if you talk about women, what do you think of your daughter? Or what do you think of your mom? What do you think of your aunt? And I'm like, yo, this supposed to be a person who took people's lives, talking this kind of simp shit. And it's kind of like, damn, these people are fucking ridiculous, man. Then you got, and then it's like, DJ Kuda's like, you supposed to be the opposite of these dudes, but instead you the same dude, you the same guy. You just try to present yourself for some reason that, like, to pretend like you were different in order to get subscribers, and people believed you. So when people do bounce from the channel, he gonna still have them 1,000 subscribers, because people be like, okay, he's different. He's talking this and this and that. A lot of people didn't know who he was. No matter how long he said he was on YouTube, or saying, oh, I was on YouTube for 10 years and I'm this and I'm that. It's like, okay, dude, we didn't know who you were before this, and we see you bounce around just like nobody knew. YouTube has a variety of people, content creators coming in and out. Leafy is here. Just came back. The dude has over 2 million subscribers. He just came back. So to keep saying that you've been here for 10 years and all this other stuff and act like you have seniority over people, I've been on YouTube for just about a long time as him. So, I mean, for me, and he keeps saying that, it's kind of like, hey man, a lot of us been here longer than as long as you. We seen the stuff you talking about. But then he want to act like he's some kind of overlord and he knows it all. And it's kind of like, wow, you can't talk to people like this. And it's like, why argue with somebody like this for almost 8 hours? And I know the reason why Zero stayed in there, and I know why Marco Grande didn't come. He stayed out of this because he's like, I see Marco Grande phasing out the black manosphere sooner or later, because he's kind of sick of the shit where people keep talking the same shit and they're not showing enough. And it's okay when other people do what everybody else wants, because he wants somebody to do a pie challenge or some shit that he keeps saying, but he won't show none of the girls he can get, right? But then Marco does it, and for some reason he congratulated and said, well, Marco did this. It's like, you can't take credit for what Marco did, because Marco just called the bluff of all these people who said he can get women, and he brought 5 women on camera without talking about game, without talking about he has this magical book, without selling a book, and showed everybody, I can get women. And you can too if you just do this. But he wanted to make all this stuff complicated. Like, look, man, you can actually, I'm telling you, go and Go and listen to the stream and see how many times he said game. He said game like 300 times. And if you have a counter, if you have a app, it's called counter thing. I forgot what it's called, but I'll probably if people ask me about it, I counted as many times as I heard him say game. And it was like, is this for real? Did he just say this shit 100 times? Wait, did he just say this shit 200 times? Wow, wait, did he say this 300 times? I'm like, wow, this dude really stuck on this bullshit. So it becomes to me that this is probably one of the reasons why a lot of people keep out black people, because black people are very destructive. They culturally destroy shit. They don't like paying attention to traditional rules. They don't like having the ability to follow rules, and they always trying to change definition of words. We have a set definition of words, and they always changing it, like they did with incel, just like they did with like they doing with game. They try to change the definition of multiple things so it can fit their needs, and try to step on somebody else's definition and then sit back and say something different. See, I know what it is, right? When you use the word game so much, and when you use your own delusion or grandeur, it makes you feel good about where you're at in life, right? It makes you feel good about where you at in life, that you can't compete with that white boy or that Asian guy or the Arab dude without actually sacrificing something. I mean, if you say things like, I know the game, and a white guy can walk in a room and get things done before you would get mad and say, oh man, that's the white man holding me down, and oh man, this and this and that. But the fact is, the white boy actually paid attention to a bunch of rules that was written down and passed down from his grandfather to his father to him, so he can be successful. And all you have is some shit that isn't tangible and isn't acknowledgeable, and you can't really make anything out of that shit. So for some reason, it becomes more favorable for you to stay in your own mindset and think that you can dominate any situation, or you can understand anything you want without having a degree, without actually understanding the ins and outs of it, and you can just say it's a game. And you can say, oh, that's a game. So like he did with the dude who speak multiple languages, they all laughed at him and called him game changer. And they all said, no, that's the game. No, that's the game. And he tried to tell him, like, no, it's different. You're seen as a novelty. Then he tried to conflate him getting women in the United States who immigrants as him going overseas and getting women over there. And the dude said, just travel. And he kept fighting him. But then, if you go videos back, he talked about guys talking about other people traveling. So this shows me that he only picked that rhetoric up in order to get subscribers. Because SYSPM and traveling men are loyal to their base. But what they hear now, they probably gonna unsubscribe, or they stop going listening to him. Because I remember his streams used to be like 100 or 200. Now it went to 60, but ever since Platinum came on there, OG Speed, the dude Ark, and all this game talk bullshit, his numbers went down. And I'm like, dude, you actually you actually fucked up your own self because you didn't stay steady. You didn't stay steady for at least a year and pretend like you're with traveling men. You didn't pull the Sean James or the Obsidian or the O'Shea or any other guys. You didn't learn from these guys to pretend that you're something for a whole year and get your subscribers up, and then ditch the people and flip on them. For you to talk about game so much, it seemed that you don't know the fucking game for some reason, because you literally exposed yourself last night to people who probably looking at you now like, okay, this dude is just like ARC, just like C Boogie, just like all these dating coaches. I'm gonna bounce before I even actually subscribe to him. And if I do listen to him, it'd be ghost watching, and it'll be just me watching it for no reason. And that's what people probably saying in their head, like, yo, I'm not gonna listen to this dude no more. I'm just going, if I'm listening to him, it's just for pure entertainment, and that's about it. And it's apparent yesterday that he thought he knew more, and it seemed like if you go back on Game Changers, when the Game Changers live, he sound just like Obsidian when Obsidian tried to tell Marco Grande about the black populace in Colombia. When this dude was telling him about how he's so wrong and how he been to all these countries, they try to downplay him. And this is the dude Smooth, who so-called was born in Germany or raised in Germany. And it's like, dude, if you was raised in Germany, why you still in this nigga shit? And it's like, damn, that nigga shit so strong inside of you that you had to talk down to a traveling dude, but then jump on another panel and act like you part of the traveling dudes and act like you for thinking black men and SYSBM. And it's like, wow, these dudes show their hand. And it's kind of like the females. The females will act like it, take talking points, and act like they with men. And then on the next panel, they will say something totally different, and they forget what they said 15 hours ago. I'm like, damn, this shit is weird, and this is why nobody trusts black people around their shit. This is why nobody want them in their culture. It's because they fuck up fucking things. They try to niggify it, and then they try to act like that's something. It's something to glorify and something to actually admire. This dude talked about game for 8 fucking hours. I never seen some shit like this before. And try to go back and forth with people who travel the fucking world. It's kind of like trying to go back and forth with somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. But then, if a scientist come and tell you that game is not knowledgeable, whatever, he'll try to talk a scientist down and say, no, that's the game. No, that's the game. And I'm like, this might be like 20% trolling, but it's like it's all him, because you can hear it in his voice where he was like, look, man, look. It's like if you was trolling, he would have went to serious mode at least about an hour or two. But he just kept going back and forth trying to deduct that. And it sounded like a female not admitting that she was wrong. It's kind of like when BGS was going on there telling women, trying to lead them into shit. And he thought he was better than everybody else. And I don't know. This is why I kind of laugh. This is kind of like why people don't want black people in their fucking, like I said, this is why black people don't want black people in their culture. Because then he'll go to another culture and try to talk them down in their culture and say, no, it's not like that. It's like this. No, that's what it's meant. That's what it is. How you gonna tell me? And the person been in this culture for 17, 20 years, and he's gonna try to talk down a person about his culture. I'm like, wow, man, this is all this nigga shit just because you wanted to talk about 8 hours about the same shit, and you kept saying it over and over and over again. This shit is ridiculous. And it kind of minimizes certain people to like white noise or entertainment. And I kind of see Zero getting frustrated. He was in the chat box because he's probably bored. But he was kind of like, this shit is ridiculous, man. And Marco, he used to be up at that time. And he looked at it and he was probably ghost watching. And he was like, this shit, he was shaking his head like, wow, we just talked about this shit. We just talked about this shit with Zero. And I kind of looked at him like, damn. So that's the rant right there. So let's talk about the definition of game, right? A form of sports, especially a competition, one plays according to the rules and decided by skill, strength, and luck. A complete episode, period of play, ending in a different defined result, right? Eager or willing to Do something new and challenging. Manipulation in a particular way that's unfair and unscrupulous. Play games and play games and play computer games. Now you seen what numbers, you seen what the manipulation said, right? Even in the dictionary, even in this official dictionary, it says manipulation. It's about competing. So this is what that game shit really is, right? It's him trying to literally stamp on it because he feels like that he knows something more than everybody else. So if he don't know, like if somebody comes out with something that he don't know, he'll prove it and say it's game, just to feel like that he knows what he's talking about, and to make him sound like he's better than the person who actually knows about it. So if somebody comes to him and say, blah 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 blah, oh, I know this and this and this and that, and they've been in that kind of field for 20 years, he'll come and say, well, that's game. You have to do this and do this and do that, and the person looking at him like, that's wrong. All of that shit is wrong. No, that's not wrong. It's game. Why you arguing with me? Y'all niggas are this and that. And I'm like, why? How you gonna tell? And this is the mindset of this game shit. Is when you use games so much, you think you always competing with people. So you think that you always better than somebody. Then when you finally realize that you're not better than them, you double down and say, well, that's the game. That's the this and this and that. Man, y'all tripping. Y'all acting like y'all this. And I think he's trying to give people this kind of sense of blue pill kind of bullshit where he think that everybody's like him, and it's kind of, he does a lot of projecting onto everybody else. You guys fell in love. Why don't you get a girl to make you a pie? I'm like, who the fuck wants to get a chick to make them a pie when people can go and make that shit themselves? Marco already put his pie challenge there. Marco's keep destroying DJ Kuda's point, and then he keeps like trying to put Marco to his side. He don't ever want to compete against Marco because he knows eventually he's gonna lose. The argument he's gonna lose. Just like Platinum lost the argument to Marco. Marco can beat most of the black people in the man who talk about game by himself. This is why they try to reduce him to him not being black, or him being something else, because they feel that they got to control the narrative and they got to do better than you. So if they focus on something for like 10 years, they feel like they're the master of it, and they can literally implement anything they want onto whatever they want just by saying it's game. So it's a form of, like I said, the manipulation, and it's kind of competing with people to try to put them down and say, well, that's the game. And then when you have people coming up there agreeing with them, it's kind of like, okay, white people don't need game, Asian people don't need game, Arab people don't need game. All these other races don't talk about game and none of this shit, and they have a functioning high society while you're sitting here online talking about game. And then y'all sitting there talking about let's work together. How the fuck can anybody work together with niggas flip-flopping all the time? Now let's look at this. Let's look at this. The definition of game. Simple language. A game is a progression of doing something within a ulterior motive, outside of adult awareness. Does not become explicit to participants switch the way they are behaving. Results in everyone feeling confused, misunderstood, and waiting to blame the other person. See? There's many different that's unniggified definition of game. But they still want to use game to a term of, I understand everything. The game. Like I know how to. So if I go into a place where it's disease and controls at, I can say the game. And I can say, whoa, this means the game. Every time people talk about the game, this is what people see. A video game. They don't see nothing that's intangible to learn. The game is a nigga word used for niggas who think they know everything, who think they control the narrative. But like I said before, it's more like you trying to simplify shit by saying the game. But actually, it's a strategy. That's the more thinking man, progressive, evolved way to say a different type of strategy. If you said strategy and you stop using the word game, maybe people would take you more seriously and you would get in the mainstream. Because guess what? That's what people supposed to do. You're supposed to evolve and then you can get in the mainstream. This is what AMS did. This is what everybody's supposed to do. You're supposed to evolve so you can get better, so you can get in mainstream. And then when you get into your own position and you get enough power, then you can change the definition of things. Something fun to play. Something keen to do to game. This is what people be thinking the game. A lot of people think this shit is like, look, life is not a game. Dudes can lose their freedom, lose their life, lose the ability to walk, but you want to compress all the things that people go through as a fucking game. And that's embarrassing on the part of black people. And it's like, this is why nobody want black people around, because you reduce almost every single thing as game. You reduce all the shit that you do. You reduce everything you do as game. And it becomes a sad state of events that when you walk around and say everything's a game, no one wants to take you seriously because they think that you're playing a game. And this is why when you say that life is a game, people treat you like you are a game. And at some point, black people don't get that every time they say this shit and they try to use it to everybody else, everybody is 10 steps and 10 years ahead of them, while you sitting here talking about the game. Everybody already have a traditional way of handling things in their culture, but black people. And it does. And don't come at me with the whole we don't have a culture, because you can create one, a whole new one. Just like the lazy people who don't know how to change their vocabulary when it comes to the so-called educated lane. If you didn't want the term educated lame to be out, then you would create another term that people would pick up and then people would use. Just like the game. Just like saying the game. Just like saying all this other shit, you can change it. But it seemed like a lot of people want to stick with this nigga shit because this nigga shit is who they are. It's the core. They did it for so long. They've been doing it for so long. And they can't do nothing different. And it's a lot of people who not willing to change, who can't change, and who want everybody to stick and be around them. And like I said before, no matter what profession they have, no matter what they do, no matter how much military training they have or discipline, they still revert to nigga shit. Look at C Boogie. He was in the military. This shit didn't do goddamn thing for him. He's still a backstabbing piece of shit that did what he did to Game Changer. You had the general who tried to misuse his military clearance to get the Homeland Security on Suge when he was going after when he was over in B1 side, right? So I got a list right now of the men who I see flip-flop and panel destroyer. So Smooth was on Zero Panel talking down to Game, then turned around and speak up for it and made fun of DK, whatever his name is, and with Dark Sidious or whatever his name is, right? The funny thing about that, a lot of these guys frequent the SYSBM and act like they pretend they something else than they're not. And then when they come on the panel, they sound a lot different than what they actually say in the chat box. They're totally different. And when they started making fun of Smooth and not Smooth, DK, and start talking down to him and saying fried rice and all that other shit, and I'm like, you thinking that dude was Asian But you didn't see Trey and him. You didn't see Trey. See, and this is the nigga shit that comes up. You go around roasting people you don't know, and you really think that makes their outlook on black people real good. So if you go around start using stereotypes to Asian people, they're gonna look at that and say, this is why we use more stereotypes to you and we keep you out of our shit. It reminds me how stupid black people are. And then when he finally said that I'm black, it made them look stupid. And then they was trying to fight him down for this shit. I'm like, oh man, this dude's smooth. He's another Asian. He's another super trans. He's another Ben De Silva. He's another fake SYSBM, fake traveling man, fake. He's in these spaces for no reason to act like he pretend he's something he's not. Then you got Platinum Elite, who used to hang out with B1 until his fallout with Taz. Every fucking time, Platinum Elite gets in this thing. And this is why I say, you know, DJ Cooter is actually showing himself and just exposing himself for who he really is, when he was just pretending like he was part of SYSBM or going against people who talk about SYSBM and traveling, man. Because he's always bringing on Platinum. We know what kind of man Platinum is. And he bring him in to try to like get views and shit like that. But Platinum is like the panel destroyer. Every time you bring him on, it goes into like a fucking 3-hour diatribe with his stupid ass point of view that didn't work, get people killed, and it does a lot of damage, didn't do any type of good. Then he tried to go on Zero's panel and tell guys, oh, if you can't get any women, you might as well fuck the fat bitch and all this other stuff. And that mindset is the reason why all these fat bitches have a mindset like that. But then it keep bringing this dude on. It's kind of like it's irrelevant. But then you have Zach, the fake red pill man, offline a blue pill man. Zach the truth, or whatever his name is. Zach, I knew Zach was trying too hard to fit in with SYSBM and Thinking Men and act like he's some type of different black man. Because when the chick came on DJ Cooter's panel, she pretty much showed him for who he really is. She was ghetto, but this dude said, shut up, B, and give me some stuff. And he acts like he agreed with all the people who talk about welfare stuff and all this other stuff, but offline, he can't even keep his dick in his pants to actually accumulate enough power. And I wish people would stop taking this dude seriously and letting him on panels. Even if it is to joke about this dude, he's a panel destroyer. And this is what he does. The General. Every time the General gets on, the General used to hang out with B1, now jumps from panel to panel, destroying panels he's on. This is what the General is, the dude in the military who he was on serial daters, and he was on, what was it, I think Serial Daters or something like that, on a website that used, and they said it in the profile that he uses his military service. He uses his military service to brag about it. So he went into the military just to use it as a tool for his own gains. He didn't go to the military to get honor and respect and all this other stuff. He went there to show off, to get benefits from it. So he can talk down to people, use his clearance to go look at docs people, to go use his military clearance to go and what he said, to go call Homeland Security on Suge. Dude is it's like a dirt ball with a military background. And then he threatened people on here like, I'm a military man. I can get you as a ghost, and I'm gonna do this and do that. I'm like, wow, man. I'm like, I thought the military would get that shit out you, but he's a total fucking simp. And then when he tried to come at Marco when Marco wasn't there and said, oh yeah, Marco must be thinking about that like his daughters. If he think a woman is a whole, or he must think like that his mom. He's a hypocrite. And it's trying to like, that's a female fucking tactic. Then you got OG Speed. OG Speed said he was going to leave YouTube and end up coming back into. He's not a man of his word. He said a couple months ago that he was going to leave YouTube and never come back because he want to leave the younger generation alone. Then he magically popped up on Game Changers panel, and then he pops up on DJ Cooter's, and then he magically kept popping up. But this dude, So you can't take this dude for his word either. I'm like, these dudes are just fucked up in the head, and I see why. I see it's not racism. It's the fact that these niggas do not know how to keep their word, and they continue to want nigga shit, and they don't want to pay attention to the rules. America has a basic rule system. Follow the rules, do what we say, and we give you power. Everybody has that. Everybody paid attention to that rule. Everybody paid attention to that rule. Asian, all the people that came into America paid attention to the rules that were set here, and then they got power from it. The Native Americans got power from the fact that they was able to gain the respect from the people that did them dirty, and got lands where they don't have to pay no taxes on their lands. But they didn't go do no dumb shit and try to go off on their own. They stood their ground. And they stood their ground, but they also listened to what the people said. The people that was left did a deal with so-called white man in order to get their own type of power in America and cut their piece of the pie of America on their own terms. That's what they did. That's what everybody does in this country. They cut their own piece of the pie wherever they live, and then they make a deal with white people as a cut. But black people can't do that shit because they gonna want to get rid of nigga shit. So this is why when people see black people, they do this. They always see this danger to our culture, danger to our women, danger to our kids. They don't want the kids to grow up, Asian kids to grow up talking about game. They don't want white kids to grow up talking about game. They don't want Latino kids to talk about game. They don't want them to have this nigga shit in their culture. So this is why they don't want their daughters to be dating black men. And this is what they always see when they carry this shit online. You will never hear, like, this is the whole point. When people try to conduct the game based off business, none of these fucking fools can go into a boardroom and speak the way they speak and try to out-talk a person with real power, true power, and talking about, that's the game. This the game. That's the game. This the game. That's the game. I got the game. The game, the game, the game, the game. Like you a fucking Pokemon. Game. Game. The poker game. Or Power Ranger game. Oh yeah, it's morphin' time. Game Blue Ranger. The game Power Ranger. The game Pink Ranger. You know, it sounds so fucking dumb. And this is why black people would never be in the boardroom of America. Because nobody wanted to hear that nigga shit in their fucking ear. Nobody wants to be around a person who talks about some magical game. They want to be around a tangible thing that actually can bring something to the table. Bring something to the business table. Game has not made nobody millions and millions of fucking dollars. Game has not made people so powerful that they can usurp anything. Game hasn't did shit for nobody but made us look stupid for the past 60, 70 years. But for some reason, you keep trying to act like it's a part of every fucking thing that we do. And it's not. Because it's not called game. It's called business sense. It has definitions to everything that they say. It's not called game. But the fact is, you want to sit here and think that this is what it means because this is what I say. And that's that kind of female mindset. This is why black people would never sit at the table, at the business of America table. Because they don't know how to leave that nigga shit alone. And then when they do get the corporate job or they get the stuff, they still have that nigga shit in them. And this is the reason why they look at him and say, he's still a nigga. He still got that shit in him. He can't get in this position. We need somebody that we can work with who understand our rules and regulations and understand our strategies and understand and keep secrets for us. Even go to jail for us, just like white people and Italian people do. Go to jail for us and whatever, and we set them up with a whole bunch of money and stuff like that. They can't trust these niggas. Even if you got these guys in tech, they still simps. If you got these guys in business, they still simps. It's ridiculous. So now I want to go talk about this Mika B chick, right? So I exposed this Mika B chick for what she really is because she's pretty much a black manosphere. I call her black manosphere thought. She was a thought to Jada Black, and then they had a falling out, and now they cool again. I already knew they was cool again, but I called her out. She was on Reg the Bad Guys heavy because she has a wrench. So when you give this chick a wrench and give her some power, she feels like she can support you. But when you go against what she wants, she don't want to support you. So this is the reason why she's under DJ Kuda's channel, because she has a wrench. Every time she hits a wrench on a male channel, she feel like, okay, I can say what I want. This person supports me because they give me a power. So when I came at her, when I said one thing about her because she came at somebody in the chat, I was standing up for, the brotherhood. So here's what she said to me. You weirdo, I left Reg after he said he never had a problem, but pressure from the manosphere, he flipped. He flipped what? Reg was saying that he was part of the brotherhood. He said he wasn't part of the sisterhood. You sat back and think that just because he gave you a wrench that you had more power on his channel to say your rhetoric. I was there on Reg the Bad Guy channel when you was saying all this shit about black men and all this other shit. And he let you rock because Reg the Bad Guy is a simp. He shows it every time. And then, the people he hang around, C Boogie, Rat Boogie, and Super Short Sly 75, he, like, the men he hang out with kind of show who he really is. So he flipped because he had pressure from the manosphere. No, he got tired of you because the fact is y'all was doing stupid shit with the wrenches and y'all was blocking people that y'all should never block. And y'all was causing drama with each other in the chat. Oh, you didn't remember that you was talking shit about one of the other women in the chat? You started drama with somebody just like you did with Jada Black when you started drama with Gourmet Tuesday on Jada Black channel, and also you actually started a beef in the middle of a fucking chat with Mocha, and Mocha is one of the people who stayed out of all this shit, and I give her credit because she was never part of no panel whore. She don't even jump in people's chat. She actually a married woman who don't get attention from nobody on the manosphere. She only go to Reg the Bad Guy's channel once in a while. And she stays on her shit. And you'll start attacking her because she was calling you out. So guess what? You lied right there. Then here she go again. So consider you don't know the story. He made a video because he decided, I decided to leave his platform. We good again. Talk it out. Of course you're going to do that. He didn't leave. He didn't have a problem with you because you left his chat, because you left his platform. Get it right. Y'all had a beef because you started drama with another female in there about a wrench, and that's why he wanted you out the thing. So here you go again. The same drama that you had on Jada Black, you did it on Reg the Bad Guy's channel. Why I left Reg after he had a problem, he flipped. You believe everything you hear, weirdo. Okay, I have a list of things that women say to try to win an argument or try to put down guys. So the number one thing that these women say is weirdo, because in the black community, a weirdo is somebody who don't have a social standing. A weirdo is somebody you can pin a case on like they try to do me on the videos that I showed you. See, she comes from the same ilk of fucking women who try to put a fucking rape case on me, a pedophile case on me, and saying I was a mass whatever. This the same kind of chick who says shit like this. So when they call you a weirdo, it tries to give them you a sticker on them trying to talk down to you and put them below you. See, the thing is that when they say the word weirdo and they do it in the contextual of black, when black women call you a weirdo, they show you that they know that the black society is a matriarchy, right? They know that black society black America is a matriarchy, right? So when she calls me a weirdo, everybody else calls me a weirdo, and I'm devalued because she calls me a weirdo because she's a woman and she has power in the black community. So this is why they say words like weirdo or call you different things. And I'm gonna tell you when she been to the other bullshit that she said before. Wait. I've been dumped a few times. You don't. I'm sure you know all about being dumped, weirdo. So she tried to devalue me again by calling me a weirdo and said, I know a few times that you've been dumped, weirdo. And this is what black women do. They try their best to devour you. See, when I called her a thought, I was actually telling the truth, because she acts like it. And she does the shit that she does what I seen her do. She act like, see, when I go on pages, I watch over 400 fucking channels on YouTube. I'm subscribed to over 400 fucking channels on YouTube alone. I have more than like 700 channels that I watch that I don't subscribe to, but I actually watch. From welding, from cars, from, video games and stuff, and anime and stuff like that. So I watch everything. And then when I go to the black sector of YouTube, I see certain people and certain names. And then when I see certain things, I don't say anything. But when people come at me like this, I'm ready to expose them. I remember everything that she did on both channels and who she started with. But she tried to demoralize me again. And it's this typical of black women. Christopher, broke more hearts than broke. You a weirdo troll that I bet a beta lame dude in real life. So here we go. So mind you that beta means you're second in command. But they don't know the context of what a beta is. They always think that alpha is the top, and they always think beta is weaker than the alpha. But a beta can always be the alpha in any way. And this is why beta and alpha don't mix well with humans, because humans have weapons. Humans are smart. Humans can tackle an alpha without touching the alpha. But she says shit like, I broke more hearts and been dumped, but you are a weirdo troll. Obviously, I'm a weirdo troll who got over a whole bunch of videos on my channel. I'm a weirdo troll who been on YouTube and had 50,000 subscribers before, but I'm a weirdo troll. Being a weirdo troll means that I don't have no videos. Then, mind you, I wanted to take the screenshots of when she came on my channel, and I didn't say nothing towards her. So, when she came on my channel, she was talking all this shit, talking about make a video about me and blah, blah, blah. I gave her 2 links. I gave her a link to a Japanese song with twerking, and I gave her of a Brazilian funk group. Then she came on one of my other videos saying some crazy stuff, and I gave her another link. I never respond to her. And this video is probably the only video that I make about her. Just like I did with whole Jessica X, just like I did with the Naima chick, just like I did with Raining Woman, and use her as an example. Every time I run into these chicks, I make a part video and I leave them alone after that. And this is going to be the only one that I'm going to have on here that I'm going to talk about her. It's crazy that these women, the first thing they do is try to demoralize you and try to singleize you to basically get with a woman. They try to make themselves so powerful that if you can't get a woman, you're weaker than the men that they feel that are stronger. Or you're a beta male, because beta male is considered the lowest of the lower, but omega is low. Omega is lower than beta. Beta is second in command. If you actually pay attention to if you pay attention to what you should be talking about, you know what you're talking about. Alpha is the first, and the beta is the second, and omega is the third. So they don't even know how to actually insult you based off a hierarchy of shit. So this guy, Cass, said, both of y'all chill out. It's not that deep. So I want to tell this guy, because he was on his panel, and I felt bad for him because they was trying to like school him because he said he wanted to leave women alone. Look, man, with this guy, you kind of got to stay out of this kind of situation. You got to pay attention to your own shit. I understand you trying to like this, but the fact is, she came at somebody first, and you should have paid attention to what the other guy had to say, because one of the guys is I think one of the guys actually give me bigs up about my videos. So that's why I feel like that I needed to have his back in there when she was talking shit about him. I always try to like protect my supporters and my subscribers or something like that. If they show me support and show me some kind of support and love like that, then I'm gonna have their back in the chat, because they showing me support. They don't have to come to my videos. So this chick started with him, so I said, okay, I talked to her, and I wanted to make sure that he had the advantage. But the fact is, it was none of this dude's business. I had to call it out for what it is. Like I said, I have a good memory. I have a great memory. I sit on shit in my head. And when I seen her in the chat talking down to another black man, I had to jump in, because this is supposed to be a male space. No woman is supposed to be coming here saying all this shit to a man. So I don't know why this dude jumped in. So let me get back to my good paying job so I can pay the bills that you probably can't afford to pay. Breaks over. Catch me later. I'll be in the chat, weirdo. So she tried to minimize it to money. So this is what I mean by saying that black women are socially awkward, and they are really fucked up in the head by trying to like use insults in the wrong time. They kind of have the worst timing in the world. We're in a pandemic. Over 40-something million people lost their goddamn jobs. So you really think making a statement about somebody can't afford in the middle of a fucking pandemic is actually laughable and is actually relevant? That doesn't even afford that doesn't even you're unaware of the situation. This is why I said that these women are so fucking socially awkward and they unsocially aware, and this is why nobody likes them around. This is why a chick like this is single. And if she is not single, then okay, I recant that. But the fact is, she might be single, because they don't know how to navigate through society without saying stupid, fucked up things, and they don't know how to read situations that goes on in the real world, and then insults that fit the person, insults that actually fit the person, but insults that won't offend the people in that certain situation, or that's in a particular situation that's going on in the world. So she goes and make a joke about money and high paying job. Pretty much you didn't just hit me with that comment. You hit yourself, and you hit all the 44 million people who lost their jobs, and the people who died, and people whose business is wrecked and messed up in the pandemic. Man, these people are fucking idiots, man. So the guy that I was talking about, I think he's a subscriber or whatever, or somebody who told me that my videos are good or whatever, a supporter. He said, first of all, I come into any channel I want. Just because some of you homos hate to see women on men's platform, go take a chill pill. I'm not disrespecting Cuda, so shut the F up, Jerron. Your mom's a hoe. So these are the women who support the LGBTQ community, but when it fits their narrative. But then when they want to use the same insult that they don't want other people to use. So when it fits them, they can use the insult to insult you and belittle you and say you're GAY. But then these are the same women who will defend the GAYs in some kind of pseudo, oh yeah, don't talk about them. They get to be life. They get to have their life and stuff like that. And it's like, don't y'all know that it makes y'all look so stupid when y'all defend them, and then y'all try to use the GAY thing against other people when they don't like you? But then the men do like women, they just don't like you. But you try to change the narrative and say, whoa, they kind of weird, but they like this and they like that. They're that's the worst insult that I ever seen. Man, something learned. I think a lot of people gotta learn from some of these people on here online that this is the reason why black people haven't actually got nowhere, is because people hang on way too much on nigga shit. We got too many people who give us a bad name. We got too many people. Oh, my bad. We got too many people who give us a bad name, and people run a type infrastructure and a type ship. They don't want none of these niggas coming into their corporation. They don't want any of these niggas getting into their family. They don't want any of this nigga shit, even 1 ounce of nigga shit to get into their one cell, one little crumb of nigga shit to get into their organization, their business, their daughters. None of this shit, because they don't want to see what they passed down to their family, grandpa, what they got from their grandfather, great grandfather, and they passed down all this stuff to reduce to the shit that niggas do. Because in all of the decades we've been here, every time good men and every time somebody good try to build something great, you have a lot of niggas that destroy it. Look at the fucking black manosphere. That alone shows you that niggas don't change. Niggas can't build niggas can't build shit. They can't build nothing. Because the black manosphere was supposed to be one thing, and all three of the dudes fucked it all up. O'Shea went around talking shit about MOT, and every relationship O'Shea has, he has a falling out and start trying to roast people. Angry Man ends up like having people on his side who, end up turning on him, and they not who they say they are. Yeah, Angry Man has this kind of pseudo whatever, like, yeah, man, I'm tough and all that, but he overdoes that shit. Angry Man is the closest one, if he actually changed his attitude to actually lead the black manosphere, if he didn't have like certain people on his side. Because for me, he made a lot of mistakes by aligning himself with certain people, and he make a lot of mistakes of showing off and doing nigga shit. And his comments over the years has led him to like kind of led him to be like kind of a joke, and people kind of saw him as fitting. But the fact is, Angry Man is the closest thing to what the black manosphere was supposed to be, because he does stand on certain game. Grinch was the one that wanted to even though I don't like how he did Obsidian, but I understand it. Grinch was the only one, Angry Man and Grinch was the only one who stood up and said, get Taz out of here. And then you had both Taz and Obsidian walk around and get Taz back in. And guess what? Obsidian dealt with B1 for a long fucking time and kept going over there while they was about to dox him. So this shows you that black men, if you want to build a good black society and restart the black community or restart anything that's black, you have to vet these people. You have to make sure they don't have any type of nigga shit in them. You got to make sure they not any type of simp. You got to make sure that they are ready to, they won't convert, they won't do none of this stuff. And I feel like only 2% black people can build. Only 2. Because all the shit that I seen in the black manosphere last night on DJ Kuda stuff, how people just flip-flop back and forth, and how, when nigga shit pop up, these niggas, take off their masks and be like, hey, can I join in, guys? I just had to take off that mask and act like I was one of them. So let me start making fun of this guy, DK. Ching chong ching ching ho yang. And I'm like, yo, this is the shit that makes guys like myself step back. Like I said, 95% of black people can't be trusted. You can't work with them. You can't be around them. And every single day I'm proven right, man. So if something comes up, I'm probably going to sit on the information and probably like take screenshots and stuff like that. Because making videos back to back to back, especially outside, it's like a chore. Because you got to walk around. Some dude was trying to follow me in a fucking car and shit. And I was like, I was getting nerve-wracked about that. Like, okay, do I gotta cut the video off and fight somebody or some shit? But pretty much, man, I just wanted to get this video out before I actually like forgot and stuff, because I was kind of like, you know, this topic was hot and I wanted to just show it, because I wanted the people to get the idea of what they see. If I'm not the only one who see this shit, I'm not the only one who I had to not be so hard on the super racist white people. I mean, be so hard on some of the super racist white people, because when you listen to some of the shit that some of the racist white people say, they say some fucked up shit about black people. But then when you see some of the shit they do say, it's kind of, it shows every day that they right. But then when you see white people who not really racist, but they kind of say the same thing that racist people say, and then they like, we don't want you around our neighborhood because you'll fuck up our neighborhood. That's the kind of shit that they say that's not racist, because they don't want the shit that black people do to hit them. They don't want the shit that black people always normalize to hit them. So I mean, don't take it the way I said, well, you know, oh yeah, man, he agree with white supremacists. And no. I agree with some of the stuff they said about the dumb shit that black people do, because black people, even some black people say the same things that white people say. I mean, MOT himself said, like, I don't listen to niggas. Just like, you know, black people would say that. I don't listen to niggas. You know, it becomes more apparent that a lot of people are right about black people, and it's like, you can't trust a lot of them. You just can't, man. You just can't. They too much flip-flops. They double agents. They got that nigga gene in. They got that nigga gene in them. They got the simp gene in them, and they got the gene to destroy things. They can't maintain a traditional. They can't maintain a traditional environment longer than 10 years without them fucking up. They always got to bring some fucking ex-pookie behind them who they think they should drag along just because they changed their life. And I mean, I think we got a long way ahead of us, but I think that we got a couple people here, like Mad Bus Driver never had a nigga panel that I seen on his lives. I never seen King Sigma have a nigga panel, and I never seen MOT have a nigga panel. Everybody else, even Zero had a nigga panel once in a while, but he was kind of like letting it ride because he was asleep or something like that. But Zero had a kind of like a half nigga panel, but he didn't have a whole nigga panel, and I think he's fed up with the whole shit with everybody, and I think he gonna fall back, because one person I'm not seeing a lot no more is Keith Lamont. Keith Lamont be support heavy. He only goes in certain people's chat, and I'm not gonna call him out like that, but I see him like moving a certain way, because he's like, him, Zero, and Keith Lamont was the only guys that said stop letting women in. And Keith Lamont even exposed people like, dude, I get women, I don't have no problem with women, but he still talk red pill talk. And I think he's tired of going back and forth with this shit. And Zero getting to that point, he's tired of going back with that shit. And some people just gonna do it. Some people just going back and forth because they bored at night and it happens at night. But a lot of people see the shit as not serious and as a entertainment factor. And I've been seeing that, because I give people a whole entire year. You see in my previous video when I said I give people a whole year before I subscribe to them. The only reason why I subscribed to DJ Cooter, because he had a long ass stream. He had a long ass stream that I thought that I couldn't see because I was unsubscribed. I mean, I wasn't subscribed. That's the only reason why. But you know, when I get around, I'm probably just gonna become a viewer again, because it's like, you know, he don't need my subscription. I'm gonna be smart enough to, like, you know, if he take my wrench away or whatever, I'm gonna be cool with that. He blocked me or whatever, I'm gonna be cool with that. But the fact is, that shit last night kind of showed me that it kind of proved. It kind of looked at it and I'm like, damn, we got another one. We have another one who fake faked the funk. You know, C Boogie faked the funk when he left. When he left Obsidian, and said Red Pill men are not this, and then changed up, and now he's a women channel. You had, Super Sly walking around. He was trying to act like he was for men, then turn around talking about don't talk about women and stuff like that. Then you had you got all these people who changed up eventually. Like it's utter ridiculous, man. And I'm tired of like playing who's who game with people. But I gotta let, like I said, when you give people an entire year to see who they are, at some point you get to know that they're not who they say they are. Because that's like before that, my policy was, if they sound good, I subscribe to them. But I only subscribe to them for that one reason, and I'm probably gonna unsubscribe after I get off this video or whatever, and do what I need to do. But it's kind of showing me that a lot of people acting like they fake alternatives to other people just to get subscribers, and then they start talking the same. And he didn't even have a whole entire year. It took him 1,000 subscribers to just change up. So I'm glad that he kind of exposed himself for who he was when he reached 1,000 subscribers, and the game shit that he did for a whole bunch of years, the whole 8 hours. But I have to like tell everybody, watch who you support in the beginning, and see if they actually have a consistent. I said this before in another video. See if they got a consistent thing, and they not pretending that they're different from the other people, and then they magically got you supporting and listening to them, and then you got to wean yourself off of them eventually and be like, okay, I don't want to listen to this dude no more. I got to find somebody else. So that's about it, man. What the fuck?